Hello, one of those very quick roundup type of things from me. I went to one of these book fair do's. I went to this. They occasionally have this kind of Hall of Pulp thing going on. Now, part of this was there's a certain number of either source books to films that I didn't necessarily realise existed, or semi-realised I suppose, and also film novelisations that, or TV also, novelisations that I really didn't realise existed. So I kind of had to keep myself within a certain budget. I had to kind of keep away from, there was a couple of quite tempting, actual rare things that were, 25, 35 quid. That there was a copy of Carnosaur that at the price I kind of left it. So I went for kind of what I thought were reasonably priced items and came away with a bit of a stash. So we will start. I will put my thumb over the political symbol, small as it is, on the cover of this R11's The Boys from Brazil. I'm sure most of us have seen the film more than once by now. I've never yet read the book, so here it is. Weird trivia point. I believe that Bruno Gantz, of all people, had a part in the film, though I don't think he was one of the boys. But considering who he went on to play some years later, but never read the novel yet, so that was quite fun. Oh, £2. Next up, they have landed in Mill Valley. Now your wife, your child, even you will suffer the invasion of the body snatchers. I think this one is a tie-in release with a film. I think, judging by the graphics, Leonard Nimoy's in this. I didn't realise that. I don't know if I've seen the film. If a long time ago, if I ever saw it, I don't think I've seen it, to be honest. I'm aware of it more by reputation, but yeah, for what I pay for that, £5, that's not too bad. Donald Sutherland, yeah, the famous graphic of him. That's where that's from, right? Now, TV tie-in novelisations, bit of a neglected area. I don't think I've done much with these, although it's in the back of my mind. There's a couple I've got in mind to do something on, but I chanced upon this, which I'd never noticed before, that there'd been a porridge novel. And I love the cover concept here. They've done the cover up like as if it's like this, the administrative prison file for Norman Stanley Fletcher. That's a pretty good concept, that. So yeah, we'll see whether the quality of this reflects, very high quality comedy of its time, obviously, and interesting to see how well that's reflected. Oh, it is, it's credited Dick Clement and Ian LaFrenne as authors. BBC Books, so yes, again, not bad. Now this one appears to have been novelised from the screenplay. Again, I don't think I've seen this before. The novel of Play Misty for me, the story of the DJ with the particularly troublesome Uber fan stroke stalker. Now this theme, I suppose this theme was reprised somewhat comedically in the series of Alan Partridge, where he meets this weird Uber fan type of guy who keeps an Allen shrine in his home, and also actually what this kind of triggered off associations for me. It's a while since I've seen the film, never read the book before, but it reminded me of a real life DJ who did suffer some unusual problems with unwanted attention from an over-enthusiastic fan, which was our own Mike Reed, who, if anyone saw the documentary in the 90s, I think it was called I'm Your Biggest Fan. Yeah, if you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's an oblique reference to it actually in an episode of The League of Gentlemen. They make this little in-joke concerning Mike Reed and his fan stroke or wife, if she's to be believed. But anyway, so that sort of triggers off distant associations. Next, this is the news. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. The novelisation of the screenplay of Network, a screenplay by Paddy Chayefsky, a novelisation by Sam Hedrin, or Kedrin, I can't read that, Hedrin I think. So yeah, again, I had no idea There'd been a novel of this. £3.50. Can't complain at that. Also, never knew there was this, which I guess must date from, when was the film, 94-ish, 95, something like that. It seems to have originated from the concept by Tarantino. Actually, this triggers vague associations because there's a connection with the Elvis-related videos that I've done. One being that the journalist character on this was, I think, intentionally based on the character of Steve Dunleavy, the Murdoch hack who was responsible for co-authoring or collating the recollections of Elvis's bodyguards for Elvis What Happened. Also notable for the fact that Red West, I believe, acted in the film, oddly. So anyway, we'll see what form this takes. That was fiver, that's all right. Again, I had no idea there was a novel of this by John Lutz. Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh, who to me I'll always associate with the character of Tralala from Last Exit to Brooklyn. But here, from the days when, well, I don't know when the rules would have, the rules changed here about specifying someone's ethnicity when he was advertising for a flatmate. I know that had changed by the mid-90s, certainly. I don't know how it worked in the States, but a single white female, I suppose another stalkery themed type of thing. Quite powerful film as I remember it. And again, no idea there was a novel. Now, slightly tatty condition, but £2. I don't know when these go back a few years, I think. I have a couple of others of this series. The Dennis Wheatley Library of the Occult, this one being The Gap in the Curtain by John Buchan. Now, the one I have is, I've got the Voodoo one by, is it Alfred Mitro? And there's another couple. Yeah, I've not been a dedicated collector of the series, but if I see them going cheap, it's just too tempting to let them go. So I think the idea of these was it was kind of older titles, just kind of slap the Dennis Wheatley brand on them and give them a new lease of life. I think he'd write a little intro, and not all of them were fiction. I mean, the Voodoo one is a more or less academic kind of study into it. This is quite interesting. It's a textbook basically, but others have been fiction, and all sort of interesting looking titles. Now this one, I really have no idea. I don't recognise the author's name. I don't think I've ever come across this before. Don't know what to expect of it. The Dracula Archives, Raymond Rudolph. It looks like they only had the budget for one Fang once they'd paid the models' fees there. So £4, 1973, Sphere Books. Yeah, we'll have to see. And another unknown to me, bought on the strength of the title and the cover art alone, I, Zombie by Kurt Selby. This one, I don't know the year, hang on, tells the year, 1982 it says there. The cover art looks of sort of a previous vintage to that, but anyway, when the girl in the asylum drowned in the lake that night, she thought it was the end of her life. She was wrong. With robots at $50,000 a unit, it was far more economical to use corpse labour. So here we go. An economic model that no doubt someone is itching to explore. So yeah, it looked quite promising. I mean, I did pretty well. It was one of these affairs where a lot of what was on offer kind of not that huge. There was a lot of science fiction and a lot of this kind of associated sword and sorcery, which I kind of only tend to delve into if it relates to a film I particularly like, or the author is known to me. Otherwise, I kind of don't really know where to start with some of that. And also there was a lot of the kind of sort of sleazier sort of pulp. I mean, say sleazy, it's probably quite tame when you look at it. It's the stuff that sort of quite exciting looking covers, and is the sort of thing that you associate with furtive shopping in Soho bookshops in the 50s or something like that. There was quite a lot of that. Again, I kind of don't know where to start with that. I mean, any pointers welcome. If there's a sort of an easy, I hesitate to use the word entry point under the circumstances, but I think you know what I mean. Maybe I should give it a go next time. I don't know how often the pulp side of it, I think that was the first one I'd noticed happening in a year, or no, probably longer than that. So maybe 2 years, can't now think about it. So I do hope they turn up again soon, but quite pleased with that. Anyway, not a bad haul. So thank you for watching. Catch up with you soon.